Let's go. So this is for the new video for Gilgamesh. All right, that's what I'm calling him. It sounds cooler. I don't care what his real name is. It probably is his real name. All right, so let's read over his abilities first, and then we'll see him. So this is passive. Gilgamesh embarks at level 5 and 10. Gilgamesh gains a quest. The first quest is to visit a specific location on the map. The second quest is to defeat half of the enemy team rounded up in a single fight. So he has to kill 3 people in a team fight. So triple kill. Does he have to get the last hit? Each time Gilgamesh completes a quest, he is awarded a tier 1 item or 500 gold if he has a full inventory. No one ever likes changes in MOBAs. I like changes. I love changes, but changes that make sense, changes that make the skill cap go higher. Not like brain dead stuff like that. No, I have it right here. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm just gonna read first and then we'll watch. Ability stim. It's a stim. Okay, radius 20. Well, it's a radius, so it's around his team. Gilgamesh ignites his sword with ferocity of the sun for 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Enemies around the ignition take damage and are slow for 2.5 seconds. That's a long time. Gilga's basic attack deals bonus damage equal to 3.5% of their maximum health to enemies when hit. This looks already like a really stacked ability. It's scary. When Gilga successfully hits an enemy with a basic attack, the duration of the effect is extended for 0.8 seconds up to a maximum of 12 seconds. Holy moly. Damage 6205, 60%. Okay, at least it doesn't have insane damage. It's good damage. Slow 25% for 2.5 seconds. Alright, so think about this. You're slowed for 2.5 seconds for 25%. And it has a 10-second CD, meaning with 40% CD, it's 6 seconds. So he can literally almost perma-slow you if you think about it, right? If you have full CD, 6 seconds, 2.5, that means you have 3.5 seconds that you're not slowed for 25%. Just think about that. That's like the little things that my brain just starts to think about. Damn, that's crazy. And it's of his own health. So if you build high base HP and CD. Wow, I don't even want to move forward. Alright, Dropkick. Ability line, range 25. Gilga dropkicks in an area in front of him. Range 25. That's a small one. Enemies in... Actually, I'm not sure. Enemies in the area are damaged while the closest enemy is launched through these enemies. The launched enemy takes bonus damage when hitting a minion or takes burst damage and is stunned if hitting a god or wall. That's cool. Honor 2. I love always abilities that where you throw them in the wall, they get CC'd. So much fun to watch. So much fun to play. If the launched enemy hits the winds of Shamash. What the hell is that? Whatever, we'll figure it out. They are thrown toward the center of the ring. Minions hit by the launch enemy take bonus damage, so that's just clear, I'm assuming. Gods hit by the launch enemy take burst damage and are stunned. Alright, let's look at these stats here. Kick damage 70 to 190, 50% of his match, physical power. That's good stats. Bonus damage. So this is to the minions, correct? 85 plus 25. Okay, and the burst damage is to the gods 250. Wow, that's a lot of damage. So this is the initial damage, then the burst. So we're talking about 190, 250. It is at 4, 540, 540. No, that's about 3, 440. 440. Oh my god. Stun duration 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds and 25% slow in his first 2 abilities. What the fuck? This is stacked. This is stacked. So this guy is a CC god. Gilga leaps into the air, crashing down on a target location. Enemies around the impact take damage. Gilga infuses the ground with energy. He can't just jump. He has to do something when he lands. He has to infuse the ground and make everybody around him turn into minions that he can just slay and then drop his nuts on their forehead and then just end the game by himself. Alright, infuses the ground with energy, causing a beacon to appear for 5 seconds. Allies who run toward the beacon will gain movement speed. How do you even say this word? Halving. Isn't that like halving? Oh, halving. Once they enter the beacon. Allies who enter the beacon will gain bonus lifesteal boosted by 15% of Gilga's highest protection. Boosted, right? Lifesteal. How much the base lifesteal? 10%, and then boosted by 15% of. So if he has, how does that even boost? Boosted by 15% of Gilga's highest protection. If he has 300 physical prots, how does that even work? How much more lifesteal do they have? You'll be right. Thanks for the 9 months. Appreciate it, man. That's kind of crazy. So you have 58.75% lifesteal. So that means if you hit for 100, you're lifestealing 58 back. So if you're hitting for 300, if you hit a crit for 800, you're lifestealing 400 HP. Is that correct? Okay. Damage 240 plus 65. His scaling is pretty good across the board for a warrior. Movement speed 35%. How big is the beacon? I want to see. 70 mana. What's his mana cost? 70, 80, 60. These are all slow mana costs. Oh my god. This guy is inflated, bro. All right. Winds of Jamaj. Gilga calls upon Jamaj to end the fucking game. To create a ring of wind at a target location for 6 seconds, enemies inside this ring when it starts take damage and are slowed for 2 seconds. The enemies inside the ring. So this guy has 2 slows, 1 stun, 1 empower. My boy Raw. This is my boy Raw is like,
Why? My
boy Raw still dropping his little laser on the floor while this dude just smashing the map. Alright, so Alright, so enemies inside the ring will take wind damage every 0.5 seconds. Enemies who try to escape the ring are heavily slowed. 70%. Gilga damages an enemy trying to flee. They are thrown back towards the center of the ring. The wind turns into a thread over 6 seconds, damaging, rooting, and enemies who are still inside the ring. Oh my god, these dudes. Alright. Initial damage 90 to 330 plus 50% of your physical power. Initial slow 30%. Alright, let's watch all this madness.
He definitely looks amazing, but I am ready to see how he dukes it out on the battleground. I believe we are ready to go in game, and as is tradition, I will give Pawn the reins to just do what it do and show us what Gilgamesh does really quick.
Okay, let's go.
Alright, that's the ult.
Oh my goodness. This
Damn.
is so dope.
This guy looks
Really, it's
awesome.
the drop kick, right? That's too good.
That shit looks awesome.
The dropkick
Bounce
is
off the
so
wall,
satisfying.
the ult
Oh
hits
my
you every
goodness.
time.
The dropkick does look
That
satisfying.
is great. Oh my goodness. Well, now that we've kind of given everybody just a quick glimpse
He's a
at what Gilgamesh can do,
He's a
they might
support.
notice that
He's a support. He can support so easy. Obviously, he can solo. He can jungle. He can do anything.
a round shield just kind of flashing in his inventory. Let's talk about the passive Epic of Gilgamesh, Pawn. How did he get that round shield?
Yeah, so that's the Epic of Gilgamesh. You're going to actually adventure as Gilgamesh. You're going to have different things you have to do around the map. So the big thing here is at level 5, you'll get your first quest. These quests can be completed at any time throughout the game.
This is
but they have
passive.
different requirements. The first quest is visit location on the map. So you can see when I spawned here, it was here. This is mostly just because we're in like testing and I'm level 20 and I'm switch classing all the time. But what it'll do is when you hit level 5, it'll pick a location on the enemy side of the map that is close to kind of where you were when you hit level 5. So if you're in solo lane, it's going to be kind of around the enemy speed buff or the enemy harpies. If you're in dual lane as a support, it's going to be more around like the purple area. But it's going to encourage you to go actually adventure into the enemy side of the base to find a location. If you successfully get there and walk over that beacon that was on the ground, members die. If you're willing to risk and try
Might before. Pawn, talk to me. What if I have a full inventory?
I'd rather...
Awesome. At level 5 and 10, from these quests that are involved with this passive. And kind of the lore of Gilgamesh
Is
is he's
PTS
got all these
up?
artifacts, so the passive definitely plays off of that. He's collecting the artifacts across the battleground, but he's also got his Sunforged Scimitar as one of the artifacts that he's bringing.
An artifact that smoldering embers on the sword towards the bottom. When you activate your 1, they're going to ignite and erupt into fire, and you can see his whole weapon is now basically this giant torch. Enemies who are caught in this ignition take damage and are slowed, and Gilgamesh now deals damage to targets, some extra bonus damage for hitting targets, equal to his maximum health. So right now I believe it's equal to about 3.5% of his maximum health. So the more health you build, the more effective and successful you are. So if you activate this scene,
The problem with this ability is the CD on it. 10 seconds, 25% slow for 2.5 seconds. You're gonna hit the floor, start whacking them, then you can jump past them, slow them again, start whacking them. Like, that seems kind of crazy to me.
your target,
They got the higher the CD.
For up to 12 seconds. So you can actually have this pretty much indefinitely, and you can chain it into the one going off cooldown and like activating it again and getting it all refreshed.
That's sick. And I know since we're talking about basic attacks, I'm not sure if Pon or AJ.
I love the auto animations.
Some new tech that we added in for these basic attacks to help out.
The character looks awesome though. The art looks so beautiful.
Basic attacks. A lot of our basic attacks have these like kind of forward animations, but to make sure that the characters can move in 8 directions and run, we sometimes have to do these 8-way splits essentially, and we lose a lot of that forward feel super smooth.
Back end tech art, very complex changes, and it's a subtle impact that you make.
Yeah, lasts longer. You can literally keep that buff forever as long as you keep autoing people. It's such a low CD. Look, it's already up again, and he still has it for 3 seconds.
We're really
with
happy
no
with how
CD.
it's improved our gods animations, and we're going to be using it on future gods. So we're just really proud of our team for that. Even if maybe the lesser eye wouldn't spot it.
For sure, yeah. But yeah, these basics definitely look satisfying. But I have a feeling that Gilgamesh has an ability that's going to feel even more satisfying to land. Let's talk about Dropkick.
Yeah, Dropkick. This is the one that everyone has like played Gilgamesh and been like, nope, that was just cool. What I did there was just very cool. So Dropkick is what you'd expect. It's a dropkick. You dropkick an area in front of you, and you send them flying. If they collide with a god or a wall, they'll stun. So you can see here. Oh, let me send cooldown back on. If I send this Odin into that other Odin, they both get stunned for the duration.
Oh,
so
they both get stunned.
Hit multiple targets and stun multiple targets.
What?
Or you can just send them flying back to your team. You can send them into a wall to follow up with your 1. There's a lot of stuff that you can do here. And it also you can see here that if I just don't hold W, it has built-in forward momentum. So not only does this just make the weight of the ability feel really high, but like it lets you follow up. So here, I actually am in better position now to follow up off that stun than I would be otherwise. So it just helps the flow of the ability.
Yeah, I definitely when you were showing us the kit earlier, this Dropkick was definitely. Let's move along to Hero's Advance, which is his 3 and going to be a movement ability for Gilgamesh.
Yep, so Hero's Advance is the main. Now for Allies Gilgamesh, he targets a ground location, and you can see it's quite a big area. It actually hits this
It's a
whole area
big
as well.
boy area.
But when you land, you have this field that gets created.
How do you miss
Now,
that?
for allies outside of it, they'll see this as like a beacon of light. And as they run towards it, so you can see if I run out of here and start running towards it, I'll get some movement speed for running towards it. So this is your way as the warrior to jump into the middle of the enemy team and be like, hey teammates, we're fighting here right now. Everyone gets a boost of movement speed to get there. And then while they're inside of it, they get some of that movement speed, but they also get lifesteal equal to 10% plus a certain percentage of Gilgamesh's highest protection.
For a Gold
So you
Fury,
can see a theme here. He
for
wants
a
to
Gold
be tough, he
Fury,
wants to be
for a Gold
protected,
Fury,
he
that's
wants to
actually
be
so
the
good.
front line
And
user
Fire
that's
Giants.
very hard to take down. And for doing so, you get to provide some extra damage with your 1, as well as some extra lifesteal.
Imagine that. Oh my god. I'm gonna get Aussie, jump down, just start slapping people for like 4 trillion damage.
All right, that is Hero's Advance. Let's go ahead and talk about the ultimate ability for Gilgamesh, Winds of Shamash.
So Shamash is someone who actually helps Gilgamesh in one of his main battles with Humbaba, a demon.
I mean, I said
He
Ravana
calls
2.0.
upon
What do you mean? His
Shamash to
character's way
bind
better than
the
Ravana.
demon with his winds, and so he's calling down the winds again here. It's a ranged deployable circle that creates essentially a ring of wind. Targets who are inside of it take initial damage and are slowed. They take some wind damage over time.
Yeah, the
And you
instant
can see
damage
the
on the
end
ult
there,
is
still in it.
sketch.
The winds kind of turn into these threads. That end up
Everything is
binding
impossible to miss on this character.
They stayed inside of it, causing them to take extra damage. But that's not quite all. So let's see if I can get this with Bot's Orbit. Oh, no, they don't want to behave. Unfortunate. This might be easier, actually, if I just spawn a... We're going to go over to the other lane, and I'm going to spawn a enemy Gilgamesh. Also, his voice pack is great.
Yeah, I know.
I like how
It's
we
great.
took these abilities, you know, that
That jump
Dropkick
animation
and
is
the
so
way we took the
fast,
King
too.
of the Ring ultimate, and we even brought that into some of his animation. He has sort of a professional wrestler vibe you'll get from a few of his
it's dope.
animations that helps with his kind of confidence and bravado as a king. But then he's very driven and very, you know, intentional and wise at the same time, which is just...
Oh my god, look how slow you are! I'm gonna rage.
Here you can see this wind wall. The outer walls actually slow you incredibly heavily.
Incredibly, heavily, devilly, massive.
And if Gilgamesh attacks you while you're inside that area, so it's basically kind of like a ring, but it's a soft ring. It doesn't actually fully lock your movement. If Gilgamesh attacks you while you're inside that ring, the slow area of it, the ring will actually knock you back towards the center. And you can obviously combine this with your Dropkick to send them back at you. So you get to bounce them off the edge of the ring. So Gilgamesh's whole game plan really is to cast this on a team and then use his attacks and damaging abilities to keep them inside that ring for as long as he can to make sure that they get bound by the winds of Shamash.
Definitely. I'm loving the vibes here, like AJ was saying, the professional wrestler, like, leaning towards those themes a little bit. Gilgamesh being, you know, astute but aggressive. He's just all about the business. He is here to fight you, you know, really straightforward. Talk to me a little bit about, you know, what we've been seeing in playtest in terms of playstyle.
Solo, and we tried to jump lane, really fighting for lane control, and just mostly in the
So just cleared the lane really
All right.
effectively, and then you're getting a lot of swings in, so you always have a lot of uptime on that scimitar.
So
he plays...
let's talk about it right quick. My biggest problem with this COD, everything is unmissable. I don't like that. I don't like that everything is unmissable. Do you guys agree with that? Like, I think every ability is unmissable. That is one of my biggest problems. Like, he might be super stacked in every other aspect, but I think like anybody can just win. Like if you don't have to be good mechanically. You just, the only thing that has decent mechanics is the drop kick. Everything else is the size of the lane. 90-second CDs. At least it doesn't scale down. But I don't know, man. It's just too inflated. It's too inflated of a kit for how easy it is to execute. Like Tsukuyomi's kind of easy. No, he's not. Tsukuyomi's definitely not easy. Are you crazy? You're telling me Suki is easier than this character? Suki has literally 4 lines. This guy has 4 big circles. So you can't compare Suki. Look, you could have compared maybe like Odin to this character. Yeah, it's like a chalk on steroids that actually has stats and stuns and disposition. It's just a way better chalk. This is like chalk and Odin together. You guys don't feel that? There's a lot of damage and a lot of circles. A lot of slow CC. They should just delete chalk and make this guy chalk. I think that's what they should do. Like, why would you ever play chalk if this character's in the game? He's gonna be busted. He's going to be really, 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 really strong. They're going to have to nerf some of the scaling and some of the power. I mean, 332. Like, let's just look at, like, let's not even look at what they do, right? Like, what the abilities do. Let's just look at the damage. 330, 400. Does tick damage as well. 240, 190, 250. Bonus damages for the minions. 205. Like, he just looks like he has a lot of damage. Like, just across the board with a lot of abilities that aren't very hard to hit or actually impossible to miss. But we'll see. I'm excited to play him. I'm always down to play some new stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. He has really low mana cost. Nothing is above 100. Everything's 80 and 90. How do you clear waves? With the head kick. It does bonus damage to minions or whatever the kick thing is. Drop kick. He plays support jungle solo for sure. I wish you could fast forward to any playing this god. He looks like my style of god, to be honest. Like, he's my style of warrior, you know what I mean? Like a Mulan type, like a Kukulkan type. He reminds me like a lot of like Herc, Mulan, Kukulkan tier, like my style. Like, jump in there, head kick into the wall. Yeah, he's like a beefy boy jumping in there. I think if you would ask me, like, if you'd put me in a room and you told me how do we make this god still valuable but a little bit weaker, is the instant damage on the ult is a problem. There's no way you could have instant damage on a circle that big. You need to somehow keep him in the circle, right? You have to like make it where after 3 or 4 seconds, then it hits. Like, so you have to combo properly to have the ult there. It having instant damage in a circle that big, I mean, you're gonna get full value out of it by just dropping it anywhere on the map. So I think it should be that character should be just played around trying to keep people in the ult to do the damage, right? So like after 3 seconds of being in there, it does, 300 or whatever, 300 base, scaling up 320, 340, 360, 380, maybe to 400, and then it slows, yes. It slows, yes, and maybe make the jump a little bit smaller. The jump is really big, and then nerf the 1 CD, and I think you'd be in a good spot. I don't know if you guys agree with me on everything I just said there. I think that would make him pretty good. And don't let the 1 scale to 12 seconds, like when you keep hitting people. It should just be 4 or 5 seconds that you can hit for your percent of your HP. And the CD goes up to 12. It's 12 at all levels. Yeah, it just makes it where the god isn't busted. The root cripple at the end of the all is crazy. Yeah, but it looks like you have to keep him in there for a long time. So, I could see that.